These things are always true. Things are always working out for you, no matter how flawed your view of it is. And you can get to everything that you want. There is nothing that, if this time-space reality is inspired within you, that cannot come to full fruition. But we also want to put in that important acknowledgement. Did you get it? You can be or do or have anything that you desire. But sometimes you can't get there from there. Now, sounds like a contradiction, Abraham. You said, I can be or do or have anything, and then you said, I can't get there from where I am. And we want you to understand that what we mean is, you can't get there sometimes from the vibrational stance you're in. You got to get into a better mood. You've got to get into the receiving mode. You have to find a way of being receptive to what's in your vortex, because while your vortex, your inner being, source energy, and law of attraction are yielding to you constantly a path of least resistance, so that you can experience the deliciousness and the satisfaction of what you desire unfolding into the things of life, the experiences of life, the relationships of life, the monetary things of life, the piles of money of life. While all of that is potential for you, and while all of those pathways are being shined a light on by your inner being, if you're not in the receptive mode, you're going to claim that the path isn't there when it is. And we understand why you'd say that. Because if you're not in the vibrational frequency where you can receive it, you're not going to receive it. So, over time, we've wanted to help you to first accept that you are more than you see in these bodies, and next to understand that you are brilliant, beautiful creators, and that you came with the intention of creating for the purpose of satisfaction. We also want you to understand that this universe is vibrationally based, and so you have to accept yourself as a vibrational being, and you have to understand how it is that you offer vibration. You have to understand how vibrations turn to thoughts and how thoughts turn to things, which means you've got to understand what reception is. So when we say to you that you've done step one and you've filled your vortex full of enough things to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes, we're not kidding you even a little bit. In fact, we're so serious about this vibrational reality that we gave it a name. We call it this vortex, this spinning, summoning, collecting, and gathering up cooperative components for you. Wrote a whole book about it, a couple of books about it, so that you would accept its validity. And then we began saying to you, but you've got to get into the vortex. You've got to be a vibrational match to what's in there. And you've been patient with us over time. We hear you. Abraham, how can I get my money out of the vortex and into the bank? How can this vibrational reality that you all are so excited about, how can it become tangible for me? Because I'm a human being. I'm in physical form. I came into this leading edge. I want manifestations. I want manifestations. I want my creations to materialize so that I and others can enjoy them. And we say, that's what we've been talking to you about for a while. And it is certainly what we want to talk with you about today. We want you to understand how you must, if you want that, get into the receiving mode so that you can receive the thought, the impulse, so that your timing can be good, so that you can be in the right place at the right time. There is so much that is being presented to you. You see, your inner being knows where you stand in terms of your manifestations, and those manifestations in relationship to the manifestations that you want. Your inner being knows where you stand in relationship to all of that, and knows what your path of least resistance is to get there. And did you notice we said your path of least resistance? Because if you weren't putting resistance on your path, there would be no resistance, and you could ask and it would be given instantly. Not just given like it is, but given and received by you like it is. So the only hang-up is, you're asking, that's good. You can't stop it. And it's being given to you, that's happening. You can't stop that either. But you can block yourself from being in the receiving mode of recognizing that it is being given. And why you usually do that is because you're not satisfied. We love you so much. You're not satisfied with the early form in which it is given. You want the money in the bank. You don't just want a vibrational clue. You want your lover with you, living with you, enjoying life with you. You just don't want to be guided over here and over here and over here. But you've got to find a way of accepting that it is a process, and it's a process that's coming to you at the speed and at the clarity to which you have achieved the receiving mode. The only thing that's slowing it down is your unreadiness to be ready. And why are you unready to accept the vibrational reality? Because you're so, we love you so much, enamored with what you're seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching. And we don't blame you. We think that's a good thing. But do you see the tightrope you're sort of walking here? You got to find a way to be satisfied with what is and eager for more. You got to find a way to be willing to let the gestation process of the seed in the ground happen. You've got to be willing to let what's ready for you become more and more ready, and you must hold yourself more frequently, more chronically, in an attitude of belief in your worthiness, in your ability, and in the universal laws of the universe to deliver to you anything and everything that you desire. Sometimes you're in the receiving mode and others aren't. Sometimes they're in the receiving mode and you're not. Not such good connections. But when you are and they are and you come together, then wonderful things happen. Wonderful communications happen. Wonderful path of least resistances happen. Wonderful timing happens. Wonderful answers to wonderful questions. When you are in the receiving mode, you are also in the giving mode. When you're tuned in and tapped in and turned on to this non-physical energy, then how is it that so often non-physical energy can express? You ever had a bird just show up and get your attention, and as you looked at it, you knew? At the same time you're seeing the bird, you know what that's about. You even might know who it is that's bringing you a message. And while the bird is going cheep, 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 tweet, 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 you're not hearing the sound of the bird. You're feeling the vibration of the bird. And so often it calls your attention to someone often dearly departed, and then often you lose your track because you focus upon who it might be that is bringing you the message, and then you miss them because they're not here. So you've tuned in accidentally, and then you tune out because you're misunderstanding that you just had a rendezvous with something that is bringing you information that if you could remain in the receiving mode, you would know, you see. And so the things that we want you to gather from this conversation that we're having today together is we want you to leave knowing unequivocally that anything that this time and space can inspire within you, it can yield to you. If you can want it, you can have it. But you've got to understand that law of attraction is the basis of the combining, and you've got to understand what it is that you are in this moment in time in the reception mode of. Because sometimes, without meaning to be, you are in the receiving mode of the absence of what you want instead of the receiving mode for the presence of what you want. So, story goes on a little further. So you ask, source answers, and this vortex is there, this vibrational reality is the answer. It is also the now reality. This is where all the action is. This is where all of the attention is. This is what source energy is focused upon. So source energy is focused upon who you really are, not only what you've allowed yourself to be so far. So your up-to-the-minute updates of what you want are always in your vortex, and that's what your inner being is always focused upon. Now think about it. What you know about law of attraction and the way law of attraction is responding to that powerful vortex, this is the energy that creates worlds. These are creators that are keeping your planet spinning in perfect proximity to other planets. It's nice to have them on your side, and they are focused upon what you want, and law of attraction responding to that powerful vibration. But if you're over there focused upon the missing of something, then that tug of war you feel that comes forth in the form of negative emotion is your indicator that you are keeping yourself unwittingly, we know you don't mean to do it, vibrationally separate, that's too strong a word, or pinched off, that's pretty strong word too, from what's really going on. And the more you've asked for it, and the more you want it, and the more source energy is focused upon it, then the more discomfort you're going to feel when you focus in opposition of it, you see. So once you put all of these pieces together, once you understand that you are the creator of your experience, and that the only thing that has really gone wrong for so many of you is that you've misunderstood that when you ask, that this process of creating is really 3 steps. You ask, source answers, and you've got to get into the receiving mode. How often do you hold yourself just asking the question over and over and over again? Where is it? I want it to come. Do you know that the vibration of a question and the vibration of an answer are different? The vibration of a problem and the vibration of a solution are different. You've got to get into vibrational sequence with what you're asking for. When you sit with the intention of what many call meditating, we'd like to offer a different label to it because there's resistance even in the idea of that. But if you can decide that you want to quiet your conscious mind enough so that the non-physical mind that is purely focused upon all that you've become and the wholeness of who you are, if you can find a way of tuning into the vibrational frequency of that, those vibrations, once you learn to sit there for a little bit within them, will begin to turn to thoughts. And when those thoughts come, you will feel and understand, while we don't want you to focus very much upon them, the pleasure and the satisfaction of that thought. And as you sit there, not distracted by current, what you want to call reality, but experiencing the whole of your now vibrational reality, what's in your vortex will be able to make its way into your manifested world through the pathway that is your non-contradicted mind. Does that sort of make sense to you? So, have you ever sat to meditate? Do you sometimes do that? Are you doing it on a semi-regular or regular basis? And when you sit to meditate, when someone suggested to Jerry and Esther that they meditate, as soon as they got away from that person in the car, they said, "That's just weird." Jerry said, "I think of myself more as a business person." Meditation just seemed weird to them. That was many years ago, and to many it still seems weird today. But it's because there's not an understanding of what it means. Meditation, if you understand it, and you're about to, will take you back to the core vibration that is unchallenged by beliefs that are keeping you from what you want. Meditation will take you to the vibrational frequency that your inner being is, and as you're able to maintain it for a little bit, law of attraction will bring momentum to that. So when we talk about law of attraction, what we're really talking about is momentum. We're really talking about you being at some starting point, and law of attraction bringing the next and 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 the next. So if you're irritated by something, law of attraction will bring you more and 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 more of things like that. If you are in love with life, law of attraction will bring you more and 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 more of that. But we love you so much. We love you so much. You are sloppy in your thinking. You are reactive in your thinking. You are letting everything in the world be the reason that you are offering the vibration that you're offering, and then you are in opposition to what you really want. You can't get there from there. So, when you sit to quiet your mind, at first it's very difficult because your mind has been trained to be responsive to your environment. But when you quiet your mind, and what that requires is focusing upon something quieter. Esther sat to meditate yesterday, and she had a load of clothes in the washing machine, and a door closed, but she could still hear the clanging and the banging of the zipper on the jeans. And it kept her from being able to withdraw from her physical experience. Just something that simple. And she thought, well, it'll stop in a minute, but it didn't. It was an hour and 12-minute cycle. And so it wasn't a good choice of a time or a place for her to intend to quiet her mind. If your telephone's going to ring, it's not a good time or a place to sit to meditate. You want to find a time when you are not likely to be interrupted, in a space where you can really control the environment a bit. It's good if you can shut out the things that you're mostly physically attracted to. So as you sit in this comfortable position, it doesn't matter what it is as long as it's comfortable. And as long as you believe that you can maintain it for at least 15 minutes without needing to squirm around,